and Mrs. Mr. Podcast Show. I am your host, Mrs. Mr. aka Dana Mr. And beside me is my handsome Mose, my baby daddy, aka 15 years. Welcome to the Laugh, Learn, Love with Mr. and Mrs. Mr. Podcast Show. I am your host, Dana Mr. aka Mrs. Mr. And beside me is my handsome baby daddy of 2 kids, 14 years and 10 months, Jeffrey Mr. aka Mr. Mr. And together we are
the Mr.
The Mr.
Here we go. This is what happens pre-show. All right, bring it in.
Love, learn, love. Love, learn, love. Love.
I'm gonna need to talk to Curtis. Can I get the engineer here? Curtis is right.
Who is Curtis?
That's the engineer. His other name is always Curtis. All right, here we go. Take 12. Here we go. All right. I had to wear my shirt today because of what we're talking about.
We should have a shirt that says, I think I love my husband.
I'm going to leave it on the floor. I'm going to leave it all on the floor today. And I hope I represent you guys well. Let's go. Welcome to the Laugh, Learn, Love Podcast Show with Mr. and Mrs. Mr. Well, we believe in every season of life, especially marriage, you laugh, learn, and love. I am your host, Mr. aka Jeffrey Mr. And right beside me is my wife of 14 years, 10 months, 2 kids. And seems like she may have been drinking already.
Mrs. Mr. aka Dana Mr. And together we are the Mr.
So welcome. Today, oh my goodness.
I know. Yo, what's going on with the divorces?
Yeah, we're trying to keep folks together. That's the goal.
Ooh, I know marriage is hard, y'all. Woo.
Stopping to create this podcast. That was one of the goals. And so today we're talking about
3 things.
Yeah, 3 things to learn from Bill and Milenda Gates' divorce. Bill and Melinda Gates, 27 years married.
That's a long time.
3 kids.
They
gave away billions of dollars. The little dollar you put in church, nothing compared to what.
No, wait a minute now.
I'm just joking. No. I'm saying, when you're a kid, you know how your parents gave you $1 to kind of get to the point. So, but they have announced the divorce, and we want to let this settle instead of just jumping right into it right now. So we let it settle for a little bit. Now getting into it, because when I saw this, I was like, could this be like? But
it makes you wonder, because several people though, they be married for years, and now all of a sudden they decide, hey, we decide to part ways. We still gonna be friends, we still gonna co-parent, we still going to,
Oh yes, so we're the best friends.
Yeah, we're best of friends.
Maybe I don't know.
Or they're like, for them, they said they're still gonna distribute their monies and their charities together. So it makes you wonder, like, what happened though? Like, what happened?
That's what.
And today we're gonna tell you what happened.
Yeah. Well. Theoretically, what some therapists think, and then like what we can learn from it. Because I'm always like this, right? If you had siblings, I had an older sister, I had a younger brother. If I saw my older sister get disciplined or get a whooping, I told myself I would not repeat what they did, so I would have to get some of the same consequence they did. So in marriage, if you want to be married a long time, we've been married 14, almost 15 years. We have not got to this point. We're not perfect at all. You listen to the show, we're not perfect at all. We try to help you, help us to help you. But learning from somebody else what they did, what they learned, what they did well, what they didn't do well, and apply it to your own relationship, your own marriage, your own self, being reflective, I think that, to me, is worth billions of dollars in itself.
And you know what, Jeffrey? It's something that I want to ask. Okay. And you guys could chime in on this too. Yep. We say marriages have their challenges, but is marriage really hard? You know what I'm saying? Do we make it harder than what it's supposed to be?
Let's jump into it. Jump into it then. That's a great question, by the way. Scale from 1 to 10. Scale from 1 to 10. I want you to hold the number of fingers, and you can say it out loud for our listening audience as well. And while you're here, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, all that stuff real quick. So scale from 1 to 10. Scale from 1 to 10. how difficult is marriage? 10 being the most extreme difficult, 1 being not so much. Okay? Hold your fingers back. I don't want to see what you got. I will do mine at the same time. Okay? How difficult is marriage in general? Not just our marriage, but just marriage in general. Okay? On 3, and I want you to do this at home too. If you got a spouse right beside you, y'all listen to the show, or y'all watching the show right now, do the same thing. Don't let them know, because we want to see. Don't let their answer influence yours. Okay? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Boom. Hold it up. You got 10? I got 7. I got 7. Okay,
but it goes back to my original question. My original question is like, do we make it more challenging than what it needs to be?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Maybe.
Like, we maybe make it more challenging. I think a couple of things, and we discussed these things before. Like pride can get in the way, so it can make it more challenging because you know, of course, like I told you, you're not my daddy, so you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
So you know,
go back and listen to last episode too, and thank you, Beth. Thank you,
Beth.
Beth.
So Solidify Wellness, we appreciate you.
Huge. Go back and watch the episode.
So you know, it makes me wonder. Like, you know, going back to what Beth was saying, like, once we realize it's not our spouse, right? And we become more at peace within ourselves, does marriage become more simplified? You know what I'm saying? Because it makes you like, you know what? It's not worth me having this debate today. You know, like, I'm going to love on him even despite all the food. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, so, I don't know. So y'all help me. Y'all help me out. Do we make marriage more challenging than what it needs to be? You know,
that's a great question. Great question. I think it starts. What is the longest marriage that you know of in your family? What's the longest marriage?
Longest marriage in my family. Oh my goodness!
Longest marriage
that I know of. I'm sure mine was longer.
Longest marriage you know.
Because I'm sure my great grandmother. I'm sure they was married for a long time or whatnot. But probably my mom. Let's see, they've been married for 25.
Okay, your mom married 25 years?
Yeah, it'd be 25. And then my grandparents, before they both passed, I think they were married for like 30-something years.
30? Okay. Not bad,
like 30-something years. You know, but keep in mind, she was married before or whatnot.
Yep.
So I think they was married for 30-something years before, you know, he passed away in 06 and she passed away in 08.
Okay.
So yeah, but...
My mom was married for 37 years, so 37 years. Most of my family has been married though, so I think that, like, I've seen it's more common for my folks to be married than not married. I think for the most part, we have people that's not married, but for the most part, now I'm thinking about that, be reflective.
But I mean, I know people though.
Yeah.
Like, I think about like, you know, I know people from Brown now, like the Sardins. They were married like 50-something years, you know, before he passed away, or like other.
That's the church.
At the church, at Brown Church, right? At Brown Baptist Church. That's where I attend. So I love to see, you know, we recognize those couples. And I love to see, you know, such and such been married for 50-something years. So that's encouraging.
It is.
So, you know, it is possible.
My boy Bill, though. I saw y'all in his DMs. I saw them in the DMs. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, you know, it makes me wonder, like, when two people, and it takes both people, though. And I think a lot of times if it's only one person, then I feel like that person can be, like, walked over. But it takes both people putting their pride aside, right? It takes both. Because if it's just one person, then you become like a doormat to a certain extent, right?
That's true.
But if it's both people, like, you know what? I'm in this marriage. I want to be with you. You are my best friend. We're ride or die. We Bonnie and Clyde. You know, we all those things. You know, you know, we're all those people. What's my other movie that just came out? Slim. Yeah. You know, so like we're saying with those things. Queen and Slim. Yeah. So we said we're Queen and Slim. Like, I think when you put your pride aside, I really believe marriage could become less complicated.
That's a good take. I think it is tough because, like you said, I think you hit a couple good points. We make it tough, and also too, we go in saying what we're not going to do in the first place, or what we haven't seen done. I was actually a question of what's the longest marriage you've seen. Many times, if you haven't seen marriage, a lot of my friends were raised by single moms or whatever like that, and so you haven't seen that type of thing. So when there's conflict. And it will be for my newlywed people who, thank y'all for joining and becoming an MF with us, a part of Mr. Fam. And so when you haven't seen that first conflict, because, you know, when you first get together, you're in infatuation, like, oh, Ooh, we having sex all the time. The yams are so good. Ain't no kids around. Typically, it could be different.
It could be different.
And so, yeah, it could be different. And so,
but for us, we speaking from my experience.
yeah, exactly. And so when those conflicts come and real life hits and bills come and maybe sickness comes, taxes we do. Oh,
because today is tax day.
Oh yes.
Woo.
Oh yes.
Jam.
And so
if y'all need anybody that's having some properties out there.
yes, yeah. But I think it breaks down to the fact of if I haven't seen people get over the humps and hurdles of what happens in their life, then I'm typically want to get off the boat of something that's rocking, because we typically say, and I hear this all the time, and y'all may have said this too, life is too short not to be happy. Mm-hmm. Ooh,
and that's true though.
But what I'm saying is, I think the other side, that is true, but there's the other side of that of saying, you're not going. Who told you you're going to be happy every single day of your life, right? Mm-hmm. You can have joy and not be happy.
Well, Bill and Melinda, that was one of the statements that they made, and they were married for 27 years. And so let's dig in, because
every episode that we like to laugh, learn, and love, right? And so we want to start off on this laugh portion. We've been switching it up each episode, kind of keeping it. Today we're gonna have a debate. I'm gonna represent for the men. There was a meme going around. I'm sure you've probably seen it before. If you have not, I'll make sure to post it on the page or whatever. On where it said, if Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos could not keep their woman satisfied, what hope is it for mere humans?
mere humans. So they're not humans. They're not humans. They're not humans.
That's what I'm saying. Like, he is Amazon. You know how
he is Amazon.
He's like, baby, I could get you any Amazon package you want. And she said, you know what? No, I would rather get with somebody else. And then Bill and Milenda Gates, we're gonna jump into 3 things. So do not leave. We're gonna talk about 3 things that we can learn from that in that place. But right now, the last portion, we're gonna do a little debate where Dana's gonna represent for the women. I'm gonna represent for the men. We will have 6 seconds. Want to give me 60 seconds or 90 seconds?
That's
what do you
fine.
need?
60 seconds.
Okay, hold on. Let me get the timer first. Okay. So they're gonna argue this point. I'm gonna argue just from the sake of yes, that is correct. Women are not. You cannot please them. She's gonna try to prove otherwise. You guys decide. As we used to do in season 1, whose side are you on?
Yes. Whose
side are you on? Let me get the timer. Okay, now you got your points together? Because I come with it. I should have been a lawyer at this time. All right. So the timer starts in 3. Y'all listen for this, because I'm finna murder this side. All right. Fellas, you got nothing to worry about. Nothing at all. I'm gonna represent for us.
Okay, sir.
3, 2, 1, go.
I believe there is hope for normal men. And the reason why I say that is it just goes to show that money is not everything. Money cannot keep a person happy or a marriage happy, because these people had money. Apparently was not an issue, right? They had plenty of money, but it could be values. It could be they have become disconnected, and sometimes me and y'all go through a midlife crisis, and you just like you try to feeling yourself and you smelling yourself. And my thing is, and yes, your stuff still stinks. Wow. Goodness. So my thing is, so it is a way, but I believe you have to realize, go back to the 5 love languages. What is it that satisfies your woman, right? So for her, it could be like, you not listening to me, especially when you get to a place of power and that sort of thing. Look, especially when you get a place of power or whatnot, you may feel like you above or whatnot. And so you're not, so you just need to make sure that you connect back to your woman to make sure, like, look, baby, I love you. Like, what were you doing to get her that you stopped doing?
Ooh, boom. You went over 11 seconds, but that was a good, valid point.
Yeah.
All right. Clap. All right, Dana. So, ladies, let Dana know if she represented. All right, fellas. Oh. Also, too, if you didn't notice, if you're listening right now, we have on I Love My Wife shirt. She has I Love My Husband
I think
shirt.
I love my husband shirt.
We did that for the sake of this to remind us. So when I look over and I want to choke her, she wants to choke me, I can look and say, oh, she does love me, and vice versa. But we're going to throw that to the side right now because it's my turn to get involved in this side. You went 1:11:65 just for the sake. 1 minute, 11 seconds. Hold on. Okay, here we go. So I'm arguing for the sake of the men for this mean that women are unpleasable. Okay.
That is so
all right. Count me down.
3, 2, 1.
Good evening. Salutations, everyone. I'd like for you to just think about, right? When was the last time you saw a woman pleased? I know. It's hard to think about, right? When was the last time you seen her say, you know what? I am fully fulfilled by you as a man. I am thankful for the husband I have. You have fully fulfilled me. I'm 100%. That's why I'm shooting for men. Let Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos be our example. Set the bar lower. Okay? Come in with room to grow. Yeah. Bill Gates gave her everything. She was able to fly. She had company jets and cars. Their wedding was $1 million in terms of travel and logistics to get people to camp out on the island they were on in Hawaii so nobody would fly out. They booked every helicopter so nobody could fly in and get pictures of them. This guy gave her every single thing she needed. And she still wanted something else.
Well, why are you trying to say it's her fault?
And so what I want to say is I need uninterrupted time. I need uninterrupted time. I went 1:11 and you jumped in for 5 seconds. So I want to let you guys know. I was looking into and pierce the hearts of what you're saying is if she can't be satisfied with everything, she'll never be satisfied. Ever. So fellas, set the bar low. And you have room to grow. They're nurturers, and they want to be able to nurture something. When you come in already made, you affect that thing.
Thank you. For the sake of saying.
Thank you. All right. Ooh, I feel good about that. So now we have 6 seconds to go back and forth real quick on just any points you want to go into, and just thinking of you said. I'm gonna start the timer. You said that. Hey, maybe it's other things.
Well, I think I have to disagree with you when you said there's no way of pleasing. I believe there's plenty of happy. It's plenty of
fully pleased.
Fully pleased. I believe there are some fully pleased, joyful women that's out there. Now,
look at my mouth.
Why is this out there? I do. I truly believe that. I really do. I believe, I know, we have our issues and whatnot, but for the most part, Now, does Jeff have a lot to work on? Yes, he does. And I know I have a lot to work on as well. Some of the things I think when you come to, the way that your mindset is, well, don't give everybody everything. You need to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I believe that's wrong. That's a wrong.
I can rebuttal that.
Yes.
You got to. I would just like to say, some of what you say do have some facts into it. And I think there are women that are more pleased than others. I think some of the most satisfied women are women who have men who are locked up, who are getting
wow,
oh, watch out now.
Wow,
oh, at me, please at me.
Yes, because that is not.
But if you notice, I'm gonna say this point, and you cannot deny this. Go to a jail and see Go to a male prison and see how many women come to support their male man, and go to a female prison. Don't listen. You gonna at me because I'm the person you see. Just go to a female, or you listen to it now. Go to a female prison and go and see how many men are coming in to get to that place. And it's the fact of women are nurturers, and you believe me or not, don't shoot the messenger. When they are able to fully nurture something, that's why they love children. Our daughter right now has 2 little baby alive dogs. She just going around. She takes them to restaurants. My son never has done that.
He takes Scarlett sometimes.
I mean, but he doesn't nurture. He doesn't nurture things. There's an inert system inside.
But he does sometimes because I want him to be. So I want him to know.
I'm not. This is not a debate about that point. What I'm saying is generally, and it's a different thing. You can say this point of there's a nurturing side. When you get a male who's like Bill Gates, who has options, who very knowledgeable, who has instinct like that. If you're not careful, and this is not for everyone, but for a lot of you guys, that if you don't get a chance to nurture that side of you, you're like, wow, this brother is cooking something, and he done flew the jet in here. It feels good in the beginning, but that nurturing side, that's why typically, and please tell me I'm wrong, and we're gonna jump into these 3 things right here, is if you don't get a chance to, Dad, you told me this was years ago. Look at the Lord brought this up. I was washing my clothes, and you was like, you said, do you remember what you said? You ain't bring it back to you? You ain't bring it back? You think it bring it to you? You was like, I like receipts. I want to tell me the same thing. I don't want to get nothing that's not like that. You was like, it sounds like you don't be needing me sometimes. It's like, I thought doing things, see, that's why, that's a whole other time. We got to get this whole topic in inside. Not just us, but I think if you don't get a chance to nurture, if like our own daughter right now, if those babies that she holds up and tries to do stuff, they start like, nope, I'm good. She's going to be like, it leaves a void if I have a nurturing spirit. Oh, I'm preaching it here.
Okay, anyway.
Do you agree or disagree?
I disagree.
Oh, my goodness. Y'all please let her know that. And ladies, I'm not coming for anybody. If you agree, please agree with me, just so that Dana can see that there's some truth to that side. So, yes. All right. Also, too, let us know who won. I love to debate, so let us know who won. If I lost, I lost. I doubt I did, but let me know. We'll get to that place. All right. So, getting into it today, I'm talking about 3 things to learn from Bill and Milenda Gates. Divorced, they were married 27 years, have 3 kids, went on several hundred trips, doing things humanitarian-wise, building up things for the community, going to Africa. Building wells. They've been in schools. I worked in schools. They give a lot of money to schools and everything and programs. I benefit from a lot of those too. And so, thank you for that. But it didn't work. It didn't work, Dana. It did not work.
I know.
It didn't work, and I feel bad. I felt really truly though when I saw it. I was like, wow, like it did. It made me feel some type of way. Yeah. I was like, and Bill Gates is not even like a dude that's flashy or going through something or doing something. He's like a regular, he's like your neighbor. I feel like Bill, what's up? You want barbecue?
Well, I think a couple of things that I think for some of us, the reason why we can be shocked is because. But it just goes to show we don't know what goes on in people's homes.
Facts.
We don't know what goes on behind the closed doors. I think when you see them out in public, they came off to be very professional. They weren't all disrespectful to each other. They definitely kept it. And some people may say, oh, they were being fake and all of that stuff. But I do believe, you don't want to put all your business out there. I believe they was trying to probably work on it privately as much as they possibly could to where they could no longer be like, you know what? This is just not for me anymore, So, why? I think that's the point we're just trying to get to is why for a couple that's been married for so long, who build this empire together, who given so much away, why? Why would they quit?
Great question, and that's what we're gonna dig into. We're gonna learn something from them. You're gonna take away 3 things today. If you're doing these things, change up, right? If you're doing these things, you don't have to end up in this way. We don't have to end up in this way. We're going to do the same things. We haven't got a chance to go through these together. This would be good for us to see us live. Time magazine, time.com did something with this too. And they got with some therapists and they brought up a couple different ways I pulled from this 3 things that I did. And I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense. And so we'll get into what they are and just kind of see what they are. So first thing was lack of quality time and shared interests. So lack of quality time and shared interests. You would think though that they work together on the Bill and Milenda Gates Foundation. So we have.
Are they still gonna keep it the Bill?
Yeah, they still gonna rock with it right
awesome.
now. Right now, yeah, it's good right now. Hopefully they keep that same energy. I think they would though, because they've given away billions. So it's like money ain't a thing. So I think once you take off, and so let me read it one time. Lack of quality time, and shared interests can lead to a separation. And so what they start off in the same phase. You know what? You like to give, there's a bigger need we need for us to support. And so they kind of went into a spiel of we're going to support, charities, and they probably found a interest in that. If you notice though, later they started moving in different directions. Yes, Bill was on climate change and health, and Melinda was on issues affecting women and girls. Which is both are great things though. Which I was like, that's even worse.
But not even that, because not even just that though. I want to simplify even more.
Yep.
What shared interests did they started going separate on? Just from I'm just saying this for example. Did he start going bowling and she wanted to go? You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, the little small things.
It's those small things that I think that gradually get to the point. Oh, I want to do climate change and I want to do women.
Good point. Daily, what happens there?
So what happens daily? Again, this is going back to the professional, but I'm talking about that personal side. And I think sometimes, and I guess, we could debate on this too, when men or women work together, right? Is that even possible? Is it healthy because I've seen it where people have healthy relationships where they're able to work together, but it's kind of like you work together at your business and then you come home. And so do you still just talk about your business? What about the personal stuff? Hey, hey, like, you know what? Let me tell you what happened to, just something just random and crazy. Like,
what happened at work? Where you like, oh, you were there.
Right. So my thing is, but I think it's those small things, like what shared interests that you have. It's something that was a common denominator for both of you, but then what happened? What changed? What shifted? And then another thing too, it goes back to the point. Like, I understand, like, me and you, we have common interests somewhat, but then we have several things, right? But it goes back to investing in what your partner love, right? Ooh. It goes back to that, because if we have shared interests, that's amazing, right? Like, Jeff and I both love traveling, so that's not an issue for us. But Jeff loves comedy. I love watching romantic comedy, but Jeff loves comedy.
I be trying to get to watch it with me.
So my thing is, and scary movies. Now, scary movies, you don't got me there.
I'm gonna hold you.
But I need to even do a better job of that, and he needs to do a better job for me as well. Like, being invested in the interest. I think a lot of times, unless you only have the shared common interest, you forget about that your spouse still have other things that they're invested in, they love to do. Well, let me come over here and be like, oh, okay, Jeff, you love going to the comedy show? Well, I'll go to a comedy show with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, those type things. Or vice versa. You know, if you know that I love going, not as much anymore, but I used to love going shopping and all of that stuff. Now, I went to Ross the other day, long story short, but it was nothing in there. I was like, now this used to be my store. But anyway, but if I love to go shop, you know what I'm saying? Like, do the same with me. Yeah.
So you named a lot of good stuff, a lot of nuggets out of the thing that I just named there. And I think shared interests are easier in the beginning, right? Yeah. Because I'm trying to impress you. You like, I don't ever think.
You're like, I used to sit there and watch the 49ers game with Joe.
I show her, listen, I pulled a picture out of where we was over Aunt Janice. I shout out Aunt Janice. We were over there, and she was like lean. She was all on me like this here, and I was like, I like that though.
I still travel to the game.
I like that. I like that though. I like that. And so here's some questions. I created some questions from this. I'm saying, you may be thinking, dog, all of this is me. All of this is us, right? And it's fine if it is. How do we talk about get this place? First question is, what shared interest did we used to have that we enjoy? What shared interest did we used to have that we enjoy?
I think we love, before COVID, we used to love go to the 49ers game together. We love traveling together.
Yeah, we still travel together.
Let's see, watching crazy, like we used to, Thursday night before the kids. Thursday night, Shonda Rhimes had our entire attention span.
Now you read my mind. We watched Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy, Private Practice. It was one more. Then it went to why did I get married? But what's the name of the killing show? The one murder. I can't think of the name of it. But she used to have our time every
and that would Thursday. Be our time. It would be our time. We get together, we watch a collective show. Some of my friends do a good job of that. LaWanda, Martha Robinson, they watch good shows. I was trying to encourage us. We have not got shows yet. Y'all talking about.
But it was so funny because the other day I told Jeff, I was like, "Oh, I got us a show that we could watch," because I know that was one of the things that he was saying that he wanted. He wanted us to get back together to start watching the show. So I told but now let me tell y'all what I said. I said, Jeff, I said, "Oh, I got a new show," because when I was getting my hair done, shout out to Jeremy Wilkins, when I was getting my hair, the up show, so I was like, "Oh, this is a good show, relevant show." So I went and I shared it with Jeff. He was like, "Oh yeah, I heard about that show." But yeah, we also got some other shows. And I'm like, I was trying to come to you
Let me stop. I thank you for saying that. I apologize for saying it that way. Yes, I saw it on Netflix. I was trying to go do something at the time. So I should have stopped and give you my full attention. I was on the way to do something. You're like, "Oh yes." And I was like, and I, sometimes too, and I can't do this. This is what I'm trying to get out of myself. I'd be like, young lady, I'll say something. I tried to say 6 shows. And you want to come to me.
But no.
I'm saying that's not right to do.
That's not right. Let me like I said, pride.
That's what I'm admitting. I'm completely admitting to that. I'm saying that's wrong. I'm apologize for that. And yes, I am interested in doing those shows. And so, yeah, I'm totally into it. I was it was, how wrong timing sometimes, and you just be getting past something or whatever. So, yeah, I should have stopped. I should have said, yes, that's a show. And thank you for bringing it up. See how that's what I was gonna try to get that place. So ask each other if you are married in a sense or whatever. Ask each other that questionnaire, and then like we asked, which ones do you miss that we no longer do? It's like finding a show that you have. I miss like her leaning on me, like the girlfriend side of it, just leaning like that with a little, hey baby. I like that. You know what I'm saying? I like that. I'm not ashamed to say I like this. So the more I get that, the more I'll be like, okay, and I'm more willing to do something on the other side of vice versa.
But see,
it shouldn't be that. It should not. No.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right. I think anything though, just like you mentioned about, if this happens, I'm more willing. My thigh get a little looser if it's like that. I think is you don't be like, you know what, my thigh loose regardless. I don't think these yams is in the oven regardless. I think you'd be like, well. You can put the yams get better, warmer if you do these things. I think it's the same.
But I think it goes back to what she said, and I think my prayer is this, and this is for all couples, and then especially for us. My prayer is, because I think it's so easy, and I shared this last week. For sure. It's so easy for us to point out what's wrong with our significant others. 100. And so my prayer is for all couples is really do reflection within yourselves and okay, what is hindering me from being my best self for my spouse? And I think when you reflect on that, I think it's life changing. Yes. So
we try not to be like Bill and Milenda Gates, they're great people. We don't want you or us or anybody else to end up like that. So another question would be, what do you see as my quality time needs? What do you see as my quality time needs? So that you can get a picture of what they say. So like me telling Dana or Dana telling me is great, but I may internalize it different. I may hear something else. So listening to them say that. So asking that question of what do you see as my quality time needs? And are your requests realistic? This is the question you want to ask yourself, right? So if I expect Dana to, do this and get a yams like this and be on top of the ceiling fan like this and also do that while she still has to work, and the same thing vice versa, you need to think, is what I'm asking realistic? Many times we want 1,000 things from our spouse, but not willing to give something ourselves. So are my requests realistic? Do you have time? Is the budget allotted to that? Like, what am I requiring at that time? And if not, why not? So being able to get that. And maybe even asking the question, is what I'm asking, is it even realistic at that point in time? Not getting angry. And the next one is, how willing am I to act on or be able to listen to the needs of what that person is? So first one is lack of quality time and shared interest can lead to this separation. We don't want to separate. So getting together, doing what you did at the beginning of time, going back and again, like Dana was like, yeah, I remember time I was leaning on you. I was like, I likes that. I likes that.
Yeah. So I think quality time and the shared interest, if you could kind of do them together. Like I think that's one thing that I love, that those things are together, because you can. And again, we don't know what was taking place behind nobody's closed doors, honestly. And so, I know we know they work together, we know all of that stuff, but something like she mentioned, something as simple as he started focusing more so on climate change. She was more interested in women's issues. But again, you could still you're not going to have everything in common with your significant other. But I think when you glean or you want to learn more about the things that they are interested in, it just makes a difference.
And then taking the initiative to go and try it themselves, and then being pleasant when you did it, right? Like there was a husband who said, you know what, I want my wife to play golf with me, but every time she went out there, she was like, "Ooh, it's so dusty. Ooh, it's so hot out here." You might want to stay. You know what I'm saying?
The right attitude, yeah.
Or watching the show you're doing, right? So let's say the thing is, I watch the show, like, man, this ain't the show I would have watched. Like, don't go in with that. Like, try to make the best of what it is in that place. So that's number one, right? Share interest. Number two is avoid empty nest syndrome before it happens. And I don't know if y'all caught this, right? So Bill and Milenda Gates have 3 kids. They range from 18 to 27. 18, typically at the age that students graduate, the child graduates and goes off to college or gets a trade or moves out or whatever, right? They turn 18. So typically in a place like this, if you're not careful, then our oneness can be like, you know what, our shared goal is to rear these kids up to a place, and they didn't even let them get cell phones or tablets till they were 14 years old. So they had a mindset, we want to do what's best for kids. So that empty nest syndrome is real, especially, but it just doesn't start when they turn 18. It's like, what am I doing that is developing? We're putting more energy and effort toward the children than we are towards ourselves. And so that's what I thought about just for any couple. We all know a couple too who, after the kids left off to college and they wake up the next day and they're like, who is this person right next to me? What have I signed up for? And so how do you avoid that situation that you're not in the same boat? We don't know. This is what therapists,
are saying.
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. So they could have been suffering from, all right, let's just keep this thing together until they turn 18.
Yeah. Because that happens
I can see that too. Yep, let's just try to hold it down. And so, but it's like, I don't know if I'm like a super optimist. I'm always like, well, we could work through something. Like, there's a reason why we had 3 kids. If we weren't just on wine and slow jams, like, I like you. And that's my point of, like, you can love somebody, but also liking them is huge because then you have a choice. I want Dana to choose me over something else. She may have something that's interesting to do. But you know what? I like this brother, so I'm going to choose him. And maybe you feel the same way of like, it's something about having somebody who has a choice. And marriage is a choice, though. You wake up every day, you can say, you know what? This is it. It's the whole way for me. It's a choice every day. You're choosing to be here and being pleasant and doing things. So avoiding that emptiness syndrome.
And it's really hard. I know that's probably the most challenging one because... especially for mom, because Jeff already mentioned, yes, he already said, that nurturing everything. but I would say this, because at the time, you feel like, your kids are, when they're a certain age, they need you, right? When they're babies, they need you. And then as your kids progress along, they still need you. And then even when they're still trying to find their independence, as a mom, you like, well, they're only going to be at this age a certain time, and then because I always tell people this, enjoy the moment that you're in, right? So when your children are babies and you're not getting sleep, enjoy that moment because it's only going to be, it may seem like it's going to last eternity at that time, but it's going to be quick. It's going to go by that first year goes by so fast. So I would say, enjoy those moments, but don't forget about your spouse or your significant others during those moments. So that's the reason why for me, I always try to make sure I'm inclusive with Jeff as well, like doing things with the kids as a family, all of that, so we can have that family time. And then, of course, still making sure we have our Friday night date night and that sort of thing. So, or, call them during the day and, when I'm at work and all of those things. So we just make sure we still connect because we get it. We're parents of active kids. Then you want to make sure they get their education right because you can't bring home below so great. So we get it. It is a lot. So and you do find yourself like, oh, Lord, I'm just tired. I just feel like I'm just running. But you want to make sure when you're doing all the running that you don't leave out your significant other. And then another thing too, and I'll say this and then I'm going to hush, like, it's okay to not be able to go to every sport. It's okay not to be able to go to every birthday party.
Oh, they finna at you.
And it's because I had to learn that. Like, COVID, praise the Lord for COVID. We were so grateful. But when I say this, because it made us slow down. It made us slow down and reflect to say what's important. And then one thing I love was those drive-through birthday parties. Because, and I love, don't get me wrong, I love birthday parties, but, it's kind of like you get the birthday parties from the schools and all of that stuff. So I think, it's just one of those things. It's okay. Like, I feel like we put so much, especially moms, we put so much pressure on ourselves to make sure we accomplish everything. And then for me, I know I work on Saturday. So it was like trying to work on Saturday, plus still accomplish all the other stuff that you got to do with the kids. It could be challenging. So, so I would just say that as well.
Yes, I think you got a lot of great points there. And I think one of them is the fact of like, I know from a lot of guys too, and sometimes it's vice versa. Tip, you said like women are more ingrained in kids' lives, so it's tougher.
So we're typically ones to take them to the practices and all that stuff.
Like that. Yeah, so salute to ladies or men, whoever doing that, for the most part. And so, but for guys, like for us, I think TD Jakes even had a sermon about this, like I love my wife, but I miss my girlfriend. Or maybe that's something we talk about, like doing a tie like that. And maybe vice versa, in terms of the male, if reversed. But it's like there's typically one person, or there's both people gung-ho for the kids. Let's reel them up. And then when they're gone, you look at that place. But it's like, how do we balance that thing of like, how do I tell you? So let's say in those moments, let's say you didn't catch that, right? So there's a guy listening right now. It's like, you know what? I don't want to say nothing because I don't want to trigger. We talked about triggers last episode. Go back and watch that too. But like, how can we communicate that? That's where we get some of these questions right here of just saying, of you asking your spouse or your significant other, whatever the situation is, and just saying, hey, is there a time that you feel like that I put the kids over you? Mm-hmm. And now the person that's answering now, don't be selfish in it, but try to give something with a solution to it. Not just saying, I'm glad you asked, and just unleash and flood them, but give them something with a solution, saying, you know what, I do feel this way sometimes in this place, and now, but I would love for us to do blank. So when you think of something, give a solution to it too. And the person doing it, be willing to hear it. Don't defend or deflect what they saying too. Like, this ain't no thing, the kids ain't gonna be this, you know what I'm saying? So listen and hear each other, and especially if they don't know. Sometimes they don't know. It's like, I've seen my mom do this for the kids, and this is what a good mom. If I'm not going to every birthday party or sporting event or wiping every nose, I'm not a good mom. I'm not a good mom.
It makes you, and I think another thing too, and this is what I had to realize. You want to teach your kids balance. You want to teach your kids like you don't have to. Yes, enjoy life. Don't get me wrong, but you want to teach them that it's okay to have like time of nothing. And when I say it means nothing, like there's no TV, there's no cell phone, there's no iPad, there's no traveling, there is no work. It's just like, because I read this article where it says if you don't do that, your children won't know how to have an imagination. They don't know how to think for themselves. They don't know how to just sit there and just be in like namaste it out, so you want to teach your kids some type of like balance, like time for themselves as well, because my daughter, she's very clingy to me, but I'm even trying to speak quiet, that I'm even trying to teach her to even just have time for herself, like without anything. And it's so funny because it was like, I'm bored. Good. It's okay to be bored. It's okay to be bored. And I would say one more thing too, and again, I'm gonna hush, but I think another thing too, one thing that has really helped, I know, like with this last year, is really getting somebody that's like mine that has kids around the same age. That way y'all could tag team that thing. Shout out to Candace. Our kids, we have a boy and a girl. They're the same age, same grade. So and God worked that out to where we able to tag team and help each other. Like she take them to the practices. I take them to school in the morning. Like it's those things, because again, it takes a village. And we grew up where we had grandparents, our grandmama there, and we was with our cousins. Yep. Well, as we grow up, you move off and spread out. So it's good to be around people that's like-minded, that you able to, tag team those activities with as well.
Yes, and so if that's you, get some time with the original two. I said the only person I chose in this house is the one to my right or your left, whatever side you watching or listening to this from. That's Miss the rest. I love them still, but the one we gotta. They're better when we're better. And that's something to kind of think about now. So if you need to get away, you need to drop those jokers off at your grandmama's house or your friend's house for a couple days or a few days to get away. We love Summer Breeze Vacations for curating luxury expenses in the Caribbean and Mexico. It warm sun, turquoise waters, and cool Caribbean breezes are calling your name. Check out sbvacations.com. The Summer Breeze Vacation team caters to the most discerning of couples seeking 5-star accommodations and bespoke itineraries that focus on what is important to each unique couple. From anniversary trips to honeymoons, and I didn't know about this until we got pregnant, baby moons, tell us something about that, to simple just because trips. Let the Summer Breeze Vacation team take the pain out of planning so that you can sit back, relax, and enjoy your romantic getaway. Once again, that's Summer Breeze Vacations. That's sbvacations.com.
Check them out, guys.
Yes. Go holler them now.
Yes.
Go ahead and schedule that now. Because you probably thinking like, oh, we need to get away.
Yes.
And that's
things are opening. They're opening.
Yes.
And you can still travel and be careful and all those stuff.
Yes.
Mask up and all that stuff and still have a good time.
Yes, listen, I'm going unmasked, naked. I've been working out all year.
We can't wait till July.
So SB vacation, when our anniversary, we're going naked there. And that's what I suggest you do. And many times, if you have something to look forward to, it helps the attitude too as well.
And let me tell you this, because Jeffrey used to get on to me. Because he used to be like, man, you come off one trip and you go ahead and book another one. And I told him because it gives me something to look forward to. It's not the fact, well, first of all, typically when you book early, you get better deals. So let's put that disclaimer out there. And with him being very cheap, I need the best deal. Yes, efficient. But another thing too, it gives you something to look forward to. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, okay, we have our time with the family. Mm-hmm. Now it's our time to connect. And our anniversary is off limits. So there's no kids. And now the kids that get on, it was like, they was like, I don't know if they heard. They was like, but Mama, why we just can't go with you because we want to be with you for your birthday?
As a parent, they would say yes. There's a parent out there.
I said, unfortunately, my birthday and anniversary around the same time, but we would celebrate, beforehand and
bump them kids. That's what she's trying to say.
No,
bump them kids.
No.
And so
but our anniversary is off limits. There's no kids on the anniversary.
So
until they get older, and I would love for them to go like to a Valbrun or something like that. But as long as I have to still be wiping noses and all of that stuff.
This has not been through any approval right yet, so we'll talk about that. But y'all give me say maybe they're old enough to. I don't know. I still don't know. I say leave them jokers wherever you can leave them at safely. I feel like once you do that, you release a travel person or somebody you got to worry about food and feed and all that stuff. Just y'all get back to what you had. You need that to kind of carry you through some of those rough drought times too. So yeah, shout out my cousin. Said I was talking to him. He was saying there is a big difference. You listen to one of the previous episodes, 2 episodes ago. He was saying there's a difference between a vacation and a trip. A vacation
is me and Jeff. A trip is when I take them kids.
That's a trip because you got responsibilities still. You get place. So
there's a difference. There's a difference because it's so funny. You feel like you're more because people's like, Daddy, you're tired. I was like, because you don't understand. You got the kids. You still catering to them. You still got to make sure they eat their breakfast, lunch, dinner. Like when Jeff and I'm like, you good? Yeah, I'm good. Like there's no pressure that trying to make sure you still take.
I remember we was up in Hawaii. You lay across that bed, and I said, "Oh yes, this is what the Lord has designed." May the Redeemer of the Lord say so.
With kids,
you have to be like, I want a snack. You got some hot dogs? Can I get some chips or something? No. And that's what I tell. And women, this is typically, I'm saying a lot of things to get added today. Women typically get sleepier earlier. Sometimes it's men. Typically from my friends I've talked to, get sleepier earlier. So with kids typically go to sleep after the wife goes to sleep. So it leaves the guy feeling like, oh, I did not pay for this. I ain't put my chips in for this to happen. So you have to worry about that. Yes. I remember that. I remember distinctly. We had the glass open. I said, hello, somebody. Hello. That was a good time. I remember that. I was like, this is the reason. I knew it solidified why we did that. So take the trip down. And you too can look over and see the shorts or whatever your desire is. Maybe it's sundresses. You see whatever it is, and you do the Lord's work as you go to the place. So, and last one is infidelity and lack of intimacy in sex. Mm-hmm. So, third one is, this is all typical, right? So, one of the main reasons couples of this vintage, 27 years in college quits, some therapists say because of one of them may have had an affair. Now, I'm not saying Bill and Milenda Gates had an affair.
Yeah, because they did not say that.
They did not say that. I want to be clear about that. Just saying this happens sometimes at that point. So, there's no hint that the Gates did this at all, but that could be something. Now, this is from Ian Kerner, right? Author of So Tell Me About the Last Time You Had Sex. This is the book. He says, I work with a lot of couples who either sex was never really working or sex just got pushed to the back burner and never kind of came back. We crave touch, we crave intimacy, and we crave a romantic gleam in our partner's eyes where we feel safe and held. Mm-hmm. And so maybe sometimes when you're working, both of them worked a lot. And Bill Gates even called himself I'm a super worker, in the sense of like team no sleep or whatever, right? So he's working all the time. And so those things, if you're working right now, if you don't get sleep,
That's going to impact your everything.
Yeah, so now I don't want to be touched. Now I'm coming home.
Yes.
And if your mind is not shut off, if you come home and you're constantly thinking about, oh, I got this email, oh, we got this presentation next little bit, oh, we got to get to this thing, and also running billions of dollars of philanthropy and those things, if you get emails of people saying, hey, you can help me in those times. So it's hard now. So if I'm not somebody who prioritizes my marriage, it's hard for me to say, you know what, I need to go on a date night, or I just need to go in there and just listen to what Dana's saying. But I got the prime minister of a country emailing me right now and telling him I gotta go on a date night.
And it makes me wonder too, did they ever shut off?
Probably
you
not.
know what I'm saying? Like,
probably not.
Because I think about that too. Because even like now, we're not Bill and Milenda Gates, but no means. Now we aspire. We like, well, I don't ever know if I want to be. But my thing is, I aspire. I want to make sure I leave a legacy for my children. Okay, let's put it like that. I want to make sure we leave a legacy for them, for our children, and our great children, all that stuff. So with that being said, but I know for even us, because I even have to catch myself, even for what I do, even when you on trips or vacations, like, do we completely ever shut off? Like, if somebody send the because this little thing right here is at our disposal. So, and it makes me wonder, I know if I respond to a call, or if I respond to, I know they were doing it. You know what I'm saying? Sure. So it makes me, so I think when we say we spending time, let's like make every effort. Like, I want to be out next week, right? Like, I'm going to be out for like 10 days, however many days we're going to be gone, right? I want to have like a complete off. Like, I even almost made the decision. I was like, I probably should go get me a personal phone back. Just so the people that needs to contact me on my personal phone can, so that way I could shut this off.
Does that make sense? I was about to say, if you do, there's a great idea. I think it's a great idea. If you cannot do that, there's a little red button.
Because you don't want to pay the cell phone bill. That's what you don't want to pay my cell phone bill.
I'm just sure. There's a little red button where it says flip. Decline. Let me see. Put your finger right there. Put your finger right there real quick. Watch this, guys. So listen, if that is you, if you're Bill and Milenda Gates and you're just like, oh, you know what? We sitting back. I got the music going. You're like, oh, let me just take this one call. Place your finger right here. Place your finger right here, Dan. I want you to slide to the right. Slide to the right. Shoot. Decline. Shoot. Decline. And just try to say, you know what, man, I got into this thing for a reason. And so this is what I want to do. So lack of intimacy. It doesn't start like, I'm sure they didn't get mad because I wouldn't spend $1 million keeping helicopters from my wedding if I didn't like this person or I didn't want to be with them for my life. But those little nuggets come along and it builds up. First, I'm taking one. It's only one call. I'm just taking this one call.
Yeah, and then it's a domino effect. Let me tell you something. And let me tell you, y'all, we fool ourselves every time. Because I have done it. We fool ourselves every time when we say, oh, it's only one text message. Oh, it's only one phone call. It's a domino effect. Because guess what happened? When you send one, it's like, have you ever? I've been like and then before you know, a whole hour has passed on your vacation and your trip,
your spouse,
and your kids.
Now they feel some type of way when you come back. Like, hey guys, y'all ready to have fun? Oh,
no.
you done with yours? You got some more email messages?
Yeah. So I am making. We have. I know 2 vacations that's coming up. Well, 1 trip and 1 vacation. So I'm making every effort to shut off. And that's the reason why I love cruising. I need for the people over cruising, because with cruising, baby, you are in the ocean. Like, you have no sit, no side.
You got no choice but to.
You have no choice.
Some people go ahead and pay for the packages so they
I'm not paying for the package.
Question you ask yourself: if intimacy, sex, all those things are lacking, and maybe you're looking at like, man, you know what that is? Dan's describing me. I got to that place. Here's a question you can ask. Ask each other these questions. So take some and listen. Don't respond. Listen what they're saying. First question is: besides sex, what registers as form of intimacy to you? So besides sex, what does that look like for you? Like I just said, you know what? I likes when you lean over like that on me. You know, that little girlfriend type. I likes that. Even in 15 years, I likes it. So being able to communicate that. What's another form of intimacy for you? Do you have anything you want to share real quick? I'm gonna read the question out. I want to hear. Okay, you get to it. Okay, and second question is: when we go through sex droughts, do you notice? How do you/we try to solve it? It's easy to name it. What solutions can we do to have it? Do we need to reach out to somebody? Do we need to Let's watch a video or something like that of other people who have been through something like that, that's talked through it or whatever. But I think as long as you can continue to pick up with each problem you have, think of a solution that you're willing to try. You never stay in that problem so much. When you stop saying it ain't gonna change, it ain't gonna change, that's when you get to that Bill and Milenda Gates thing. Last question is, when was the time I met your intimacy needs and listened to what they say? Oh, you remember that time when we was in White and I laid down in that little thing? Woo. Hello. All right. When did I? And it's a huge question. Here's the question I came up with. When did I miss an opportunity to meet your intimacy needs? Wow. Yikes. That's good, huh? Let me do it one more time. When did I miss an opportunity to meet your intimacy needs? And then listen to what they have to say. Don't judge them. Don't cut them off. Just listen to what they have to say right there. So those three. Read them up back one more time. Lack of quality time and shared interest can lead to separation. Avoid empty nest syndrome before it starts. What can we do right now so that we're not loving those kids so much that we forget about us? And number 3 is infidelity and lack of intimacy in sex. So find us a solution to that. It may be the truth right now, but it don't have to be your future. It can be the present right now. A lot of people came from not doing it for years, and now they tearing it up. Woo, tearing it up right there. Or non-sex touch. Like, you know what? Let me get back to, I want to hold your hand when we're going to the movies. Or I like when we laying down, you know what, my booty, the lady may say that, and you scoop me up and bring me close. That make me feel some type of way. Like we feel so. Or Mama D was saying, her husband's hands just strong hands on her. Now I ain't telling her to go too deep with that, but that's she has that place right there. But that is you. Is that what you signed up for? So love it. Be intentional this week. Set time together to do things that you learned here today. So whether watch a show, talking about that, getting the elephant out in the room and having a conversation about that, and listen to each other. Get that. Reflect on what's going well in your marriage right now, and listen to where your partner feels the most and most benefited by things that we can do together. And come back and say, we'll come back in 2 weeks. We're gonna sit on our calendar right now. We'll come back in 2 weeks. Let's see how we're doing that place. I want you to give me real feedback on how I'm doing. I'm not gonna feel some type of way. Again, I'm gonna get real feedback on that. And you can grow. We don't want nobody who's listening or watching right now to end up like Bill and Milenda Gates. They're great people, but they're married right now, and so their kids will see a divorce in the situation. We all know. We all come from blended families or whatever, and you can work it out. It can be great again, but if we never had to get to that place, I think that'd be a good place to do it. Yep. So if you argue throughout this episode, or maybe you still argue right now, stop. Look at the person next to you. We're going to do the Mr. Mantra and say, I like you, I love you, and I want you. Give a little sugar. I be liking long, I like that. I like the little long kids. So, love y'all, man. Listen, go back and listen to the episode. If you are following, some of y'all are following us, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Stop shacking us with us. Stop shacking up with us. Go ahead and make a commitment. Hit that subscribe button right quick. Stop shacking up with us, getting all this great content, and you scrolling off. We love you, man. Don't act like that. We family. You are MF.
Yeah,
all right?
Mr. Fam.
Anything else you want to say then?
No, that's great.
Hey, appreciate y'all, man. Listen, we love you. God loves you. And ain't nothing you can do about it. You want to just tell them?
Love, learn, love.
Hey!
Love, learn, love.
Hey!
Love, learn, love.
With Mr. and Mrs. Mister.
Love, learn, love.
Come on, with it.
Love, learn, love.
Come on, with it.
Love, learn, love.
With Mr. and Mrs. Mister. Yeah.
And that's our show.
Yeah. Come on back, man. We're here every Tuesday. New episodes every Tuesday. We love y'all. God loves you. Ain't nothing you can do.